Harry on the piano. Nice.
Thank you.
11 o'clock. Time to get started, and good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good, blessed morning here at Salem's First and Foremost Center for Spiritual Living. We love to call ourselves Wooden Chapel all the time. That's our original handle, but we're now Salem's First and Foremost Center for Spiritual Living. That's how we like to look at it. So what does spiritual living mean? If you hear that, well, if you're visiting us here today for your very first time, I just want to say this. It matters not to us what spiritual path that you may be upon right now or not. We welcome you here, and we hope you'll find an uplifting spiritual experience and one that confirms what your heart tells you what is good for your life. By the way, is there anyone here visiting for the very first time? I know there are a couple right here and right there. And we have a little packet we'd like you to have. It's an envelope that has some things in it. It has a newsletter in there, our latest newsletter for the month of coming up here of May. And in there it's got some nice information, but there's also a little piece of paper in there that's got information type of thing. Look me up after the service, or Reverend Maur, or one of our practitioners, which one was doing a meditation here earlier, and one will be doing a pray-in here in a moment. Just look us up. We want to talk to you. We have a gift for you to come and see us. Talk about that later. Come look us up. Okay, so before we join Ari for the very first time for our music coming up, there's some announcements we should cover, important announcements. Next week, Reverend Moore is going to continue his topic with actually a different title, but this is going to be titled "The Unlearning Fear of Darkness." Doesn't that sound like a good one? He'll take us into that. And this morning, right after we have a little gathering here, let's join us here for potluck. We got some food coming up, so please join us on that. Now, I want to talk a little bit about, just real quick, sharing our time and our talent and our treasure. Gifts for our center can take many forms. The gifts that we give, they can come in the form of money, naturally. Why should we turn money away? We know that has a power source that helps us move in the right direction. But they might be given through service. That's a great one. Our volunteers do such a heart service for us when they give of their service as they do. And if you feel called to give a gift of your service, of yourself, that's your talent, please contact a member of the ministry team. And that can be me, that can be Reverend Moore, that can be any of they're here somewhere, I see. Oh, Cheryl and Carol are here today. And Ruth is over here, sitting right up front. We call them part of our ministry team. Just come and talk to us about that. Where are you, Donna? I'm sorry, Donna. Donna has been gone for a bit in some family business, and when she gets back, we loved her and said you're welcome, and now I didn't welcome you back. Hi, Donna. We're glad you're here with us. Okay. Donna, yes, okay. Oh, on Sunday, May the 21st, you want to be here. You really do. We have Soup for the Soul. That's our fundraiser. We have wonderful soups that our volunteers do volunteer. This is sponsored by Sandy Megan, working on that. And Satya is not here, is she? There she is, hiding. I just don't see anybody. I can't recognize who you are. Is Reverend Moore in the house? There he is. Our senior minister's here, the one who's going to give us I need glasses. or pancakes and molasses, one or the other, anyhow. Well, anyhow, remember that Soup for the Soul coming up on the 21st, right, Satya? Uh-huh.
Yes, and if you haven't signed up, or if we need you to sign up, I don't know, I haven't looked at the list this morning.
What's that mean, sign up? What do you mean?
It's
to
a
eat?
sheet, a sign-up sheet out there that, do you want to bring a soup? What is it?
Ah.
Do you want to bring bread? I'm going to bake cornbread bread until I get notorious for it. Well, yeah, it's good, when I'm not making soup. But, the more the merrier. And the most important thing on the sign-up sheet, set up, clean up, especially clean up. Help us out, because people have been cooking for 2 days and they don't need to wash the dishes
Yeah.
too. We do wash dishes. We don't throw things away. We use soup bowls and real spoons, so we have
Yeah.
dishes to wash.
First
We're not
class
gonna
here.
make trash and pollution when
Yeah.
we serve soup.
Yeah, we're going first class. Yeah, well, I'll bring my appetite. How's that? Okay?
Your appetite is welcome.
Oh, thank you. There's a donation to that too. Was it a couple of $3?
$3 or whatever's in your pocket
Yeah.
that you wanna throw in the basket.
$100 bill. You got an
You
extra
got
one?
stray hundreds, you don't know what to do with it. You bet
Got
you.
it. Okay.
We'll
I want to jump.
We're running an AED.
Want to jump ahead here.
There's a purpose.
There's a new class coming up, and this is a good one. It's called Beyond Limits. Just the title makes you want to take this class, Beyond Limits, and it's practical spirituality for dynamic living, and it begins on May the 23rd at 6 p.m., 6 in the evening. That makes it handy for people who have to work. But for more details, there's a flyer that's in the sign-up sheet right there in the library on the table. And you can talk again to Reverend Moore. He's got the lowdown on everything here in this chapel. The date was May 23rd, and it's a 6 o'clock evening class. Okay. Is anyone else has announcements of any kind other than that? All right. Are you ready to sing? I know I am.
Are we ready?
All right, let's get going.
All
Why don't we stand and sing this next song that Ari's going to lead us in?
Hello, everyone. Happy May. Nice to be back. We're going to sing a song called Song of the Soul by Chris Williamson. All right. Love of my life, I am crying. I am not dying. I am dancing, dancing along in the madness. There is no sadness, only a song of the soul, and we'll sing this song. Why don't you sing along, and we can sing for a long, long time. Why don't you sing this song? Why don't you sing along, and we can sing for a long, long time. Love, what do you do for your living? Are you forgiving, giving shelter? Follow your heart, love will find you, truth will unbind you. Sing out a song of the soul, and we'll sing this song. Why don't you sing along, and we can sing for a long, long time. Why don't you sing this song? Why don't you sing along, and we can sing for a long, long time, and we can sing for a long, long time. Yay, thank you for singing.
Yeah. Okay. This time now we can settle in and have a prayer, a nice invocation. It's our practitioner, Cheryl.
Let's just get comfortable in our seats. Feel the warmth around you in this beautiful, beautiful space, knowing that every person present is connected to you, is you, that you are the perfection of God right now in this moment. That everything within you is expressed from within and from without. That you are the perfect being of God. You are the child. You are that perfect space. Everything within you is now dancing with joy, knowing that you are in a place of like beings, that each and every one of us are no different from the other, that our hearts are open and receptive to hearing the word that is spoken here today. And we know that this one power that animates our being, that is the essence of who we are, is now present, always present, because this presence is within you, is you. And I am just so grateful knowing that this is the perfect place to be in this moment, that everyone that is present is here by divine urge, knowing that we are sharing that beauty and that joy that is the Spirit. And with so much gratitude in my heart, I know that I am blessed to be here, that every person here is blessed to be here, and that what we hear today, we take away nuggets of truth that expresses through us for the rest of this week and for the rest of our lives in some cases. And I know that everyone feels that beautiful presence and knows that it is you. You are God expressing in every moment of your life. And I joyfully feel that inner strength and that inner power flowing and just filling this whole room with that power. And so I just release my word into the law of mind, knowing that God is always present, and we just let go and let be what is occurring right now in this moment. So please join me now in saying, and so it is. Our affirmation for today, please take these words into your heart and make them your own. I believe there's a light inside me, a reflection of the divine light shining upon and within all humanity. This light can change the world. When I cast my love stone across the waters of life, it creates so many ripples, and so do I. And so it is. So do I.
So it is. We have a reading now. John Eels.
Good morning, all, on this beautiful Sunday morning. Good morning. The title of today's piece is The Circle of Grace, and it quotes Christian Larson in his book, The Pathway of Roses, as saying, "The act of giving produces just as much joy as the act of receiving, because both add to the richness of existence." And on the same subject, Ernest Holmes wrote, "The one who gives for the joy of giving will receive back even more joy than was given out. Ever as the volume increases, the circle will increase." And the writer of today's piece says, "I'm convinced that all people are imbued with a fierce desire to participate in what I call the circle of grace. In some, the circle shows up readily. Others may have to dig deeper to uncover it. But I firmly believe that it is there. The circle of grace is the desire to give back in gratitude for that which we have received, to benefit others, to participate fully in the law of circulation. Jimmy Thomas is one of those people whose desire to be part of the circle of grace shows up in a big way. the New York native and Army veteran gratefully received a service dog, Boots, to help him prevent seizures. After Boots died last year, Thomas set out on an epic journey, paddling his kayak along the coast from upstate New York to Key West, Florida. From there, he is making his way back home via bicycle. With help from fellow Rotary Club members, he seeks to raise people's awareness of the need for service dogs to help veterans and to raise funds to train service dogs. The average cost to train a service dog is $50,000. We don't have to make a grand jury like Thomas, navigating our way through shark-infested waters to participate in the circle of grace. We can do it in a small way every day, being aware of opportunities to give, allowing Spirit within us to love and nurture itself through us. And of course, this being the Woodland Chapel, we have a bonus affirmation. I open myself up wide to the myriad opportunities I have to give and participate in the circle of grace, allowing the divine current to flow freely through me.
Thank you, John. We have good readers, do we not? Yes. Some more music now.
Hello again. Back up. All right, this is a song I wrote last year called Celebrate, but the title's a little deceiving on purpose. It's not really celebrating the things we standardly celebrate, which would be the light or the joy or the excitement, right? Those things are pretty easy to celebrate, yeah? But what about celebrating the shadows or the challenges? Because that's how we grow, right? Here's Celebrate. Celebrate the shadows where the pain remains, and rise up through the cracks made along the way. Deep shake and rumble, thunder of change, feeling low to grow. Celebrate the shadows where the pain remains, and then rise up through the cracks made along the way. Deep shake and rumble, oh, thunder of change, brings the strongest to their knees. Unexpectedly, oh, celebrate the shadows where the pain remains, and then rise up through the cracks made along the way, and surrender to the things that we don't know. Find comfort in the chaos and power in the lows, the dark and light, the dim and bright. the shadows where the pain remains, and then rise up through the cracks made along the way, and we'll know, will we know we'll be okay. Thank you.
What a great song to introduce our speaker of the morning. I think everyone here, except a couple perhaps, know who Reverend Maur Horton is. He's had his firm hand on the helm of this chapel, this Center for Spiritual Living, helping us to continue right on through the COVID, all those things that was a challenge up to right now. And today he's got a great message. Put your ears on. Reverend Maur.
Thank you, Don. Well, good morning. It is truly a joy to be here with you this morning. Last time we spoke, we talked about possibilities and power that arise from seeing ourselves, seeing others, and seeing in between. And we found that in the between is where our community lives. Today, our topic is the inner and the outer spectrum, and by implication, bringing them into coherence. We both look at the internal and the external aspects of life as expressions of the divine. And I plan to share a story with you and possibly a joke if we have the time. But before we get into the message, I always like to recognize all the team, the folks who've made this morning possible. Our inspiration, for example, from practitioner Cheryl Ostrander did lead our morning meditation that helped move us into a spirit of heart and mind. Our musician, Ari Harris, who's used her voice and the piano. Thank you. Our platform person, Reverend Don, who always makes us feel welcome, as he does every time. Practitioner Cheryl Guess, who presented our invocation and placed our celebration in our hearts and in the hands of the infinite. Our audiovisual team, Jim Nye and Aaron Cermak, who help us hear better and reach those who join us over the internet. And of course, our hospitality hosts, I think it's Greg and Susie today, and they've brought us arrangements for a potluck overflowing with delicious food. And most importantly, I want to recognize you who have come to share this morning's assembly, message, and hospitality. I ask you to just join me in expressing our gratitude for one another by clapping for each and for all. Let me give a little context for today's message. Our monthly theme is light within the shadows. Thank you, Ari, for presenting such a beautiful introduction to that topic. Shadows. Shadows exist in concept, and I think in reality for most of us, lurking somewhere in what we typically call the unconscious mind or the less aware mind. But sometimes they also cast a shadow out into our consciousness. And we're going to explore that a little bit this morning. For each Sunday this month, we will explore the relationship between light and dark. You see, light and dark coexist together and actually cradle each other. We don't often think about that, do we? There isn't one without the other. The two powerfully work to synergetically bring together life itself. So we're going to welcome light and dark for what they each bring to us. Now I was thinking, well, does that make sense? And I said, well, yeah. I think for a moment of the day. The day. Where does the sunrise arise from? The dark. You know, the east and the dark, right? The dark becomes light. That's one answer. And from the east is a good one too. Where does the sunset go? Into the west? Into the dark. Exactly. No sunset, no dark of night, no sunrise, no light of the day. So in the day, we see things pretty clearly, don't we, that are on the ground. And on a clear night, we see the moon and the stars clearly. Both have their vistas. They contrast, but they support each other as part of life itself. Neither the vistas of the night nor the vistas of the day disappear when we can't see them. They're there. We know they're there, right? They simply come into better focus as we experience either the day or the night, the light or the dark. The day and the night fill the spectrum, if you will, of a 24-hour day. And today's theme is the inner and outer spectrum. You see, as spiritual beings living a human experience and a human being living a spiritual experience, we live both from the inner and from the outer spectrum of life. It's as if we have an inner self and an outer self. It's as if we have in the daytime, we have the light and the dark, right? And in our minds, we have the unconscious and the conscious. It's all a spectrum of life itself. Both are necessary for our growth and evolution. They provide the information, the color, and the flavor of life. Now, our presentation is a two-part presentation. We'll have part of it this morning and part of it next Sunday. Next Sunday, we're going to take a deep dive, if you will, or delve into the dark and unlearn the fear of it. Today, we're going to look at the way we see the spectrum of light and dark and how it affects our lives and how we choose how it affects our lives. Let's take a quick definition of terms here. The spectrum. Any spectrum is a way of measuring or counting the the reality before us in terms of its relationship as a continuum. So now I'm not talking about being on the spectrum as a reference to autism. That's very specialized. Rather, we're referring to the spectrum, say, of visible light. Visible light goes from red all the way through the colors of the rainbow to violet, right? All different frequencies of light. And that frequency, that spectrum, is simply part of the electromagnetic spectrum. It goes all the way from, say, gamma rays through X-rays into the visible spectrum, on out into the ultraviolet, and finally way out into the radio waves. Now, if you were to imagine for just a moment, there's a banner or a line that goes from one side of the sanctuary to the other side of the sanctuary, and you were to say, well, where's the visible spectrum? It's about maybe an inch in the middle of that electromagnetic spectrum. Oh, yeah. So that a large part of the universe is really kind of dark to us, isn't it? We don't see it, but it's there. We know it's there. Our instrumentation and our scientists can do things like make X-rays and take pictures of our insides and things like that with those X-ray things, right? They're there, they're real, but they're not really present to us in terms of our senses. Likewise, it's kind of similar, the way our minds work. Think of your mind as a picture of the mind activity as going from one end of the sanctuary to the other end of the sanctuary. And right in the middle, there is that present moment that you live in. We always live in the present moment. Yet there's an infinite, blow away the wall, extension of mind into subconscious and race consciousness and the history of life. And there's infinite expansion to the conscious level where we actually become aware of and participate in that divine, infinite consciousness of life itself. Yeah. So that's just to set the context for our message today. It almost appears, as I've said, that we have two separate sides to ourselves, our inner self and our outer self. I think all of us have kind of experienced that to some degree. The outer self is generally concerned with material things, such as how we present ourselves, our hair and our clothes and such, and how we belong to different groups, or we present personas that portray who we are. Our outer self spends its time coping with demands of work and school and home life and volunteering and whatever other real-world distractions we experience each day. Our inner self, in contrast to the outer self, the inner self is about what we can't see: feelings, intuition, values, beliefs, personality, thoughts, emotions, fantasies, spirituality, desire, and purpose. Becoming aware of our inner self and how it balances with our outer self is the foundation of good mental, physical, and spiritual health. A strong inner self means that you cope well with your emotions, are self-aware, have clarity and a good sense of values, and feel a purpose in life. It also means that you are able to remain calm and resilient in the face of adversity from the outer world. So balancing the inner and the outer. Now the balance doesn't mean 50-50 necessarily, because the power of our inner life, we live from the inner to the outer. And so that infuses or brings together our expression in the outer life. Now let's go a little deeper. The mind is the bridge between our inner and outer selves. When we are aware and conscious, we draw upon both the subconscious elements of life and the conscious aspects of our mind. It is through our thought that we find a useful balance between our inner and outer life. Ernest Holmes, in his book, The Spiritual Universe, writes, "There, through the door of your own thought, we enter into the universal consciousness, into a complete realization of life and truth, of love and beauty." So how do we enter that door? The door of our own thought, and find the golden balance of inner and outer life, subconscious and conscious awareness? Good question. Would you like to hear a little joke? let's see if it's as funny to you as it was to me. Okay. Man on the mountain. One day a man stood atop a nearby mountain. He looked at the view, it was gorgeous. And he turned his pockets inside out, and powdered gold gushed out at amazing speed as he stood there. Soon the media caught wind of this and went to investigate. After stuffing as many buckets of gold into their van as they set out to find the man. The journey wasn't easy. The powdered gold made the mountain slick and difficult to climb, but eventually they found the man. In the interview, they asked him how it was that he was doing this and why. Well, the man said, "A while back, I found a hobo who looked in distress. I gave him $100. He turned to me and said, 'For your kindness, I'll grant you 3 wishes.' My first wish was to have deep pockets. Okay. My second wish was to prod the government. My third wish was to be able to escape from any situation." You could now see that there were thousands of people coming to this mountain to collect the gold. Helicopters were coming around on the horizon. Police were approaching, and everyone was putting buckets and pails of glistening, shiny sand into their vehicles. "That's amazing," said the interviewer. "But this still doesn't explain something. Where did all this gold come from?" From the helicopters could be heard the words, "You're under arrest." The man replied, "Oh, that's easy. Fort Knox Depository." Some, I think about that one a little bit. Some say the man just disappeared into a cloud of gold dust stirred up by the police helicopters above. Oh dear. So back to our topic. How do we go through the door of our thought into the golden consciousness of the divine within? How can we coax what is in darkness, what is in the shadow, out into the light, where it can reveal the possibilities for growth that we've actually set aside, that we've even stuffed down into our subconscious or unconscious minds? Well, we know, of course, many techniques. In addition to our spiritual practices of meditation, of affirmative prayer, spiritual reading, and service, there is a proven process that can help us reveal what is in the shadows. It is a process where revealing becomes healing, and healing brings us even more joy. A most certain, perhaps the most certain, but I'll just say a most certain indicator or pointer to our inner power lies right before our eyes in our emotional reactions to life, in our emotional experiences. And we know that emotion follows our thought, and thought arises from our beliefs, whether conscious or unconscious. Emotion. If we find ourselves getting angry, being snippy, or putting ourselves or others down, we have found pointers to powers that are hidden within us. It's kind of amazing. Most of us have felt, witnessed, or seen strong emotions. Now, I'm going to ask a few questions. If you want to answer them out loud, you can. You can say with me, I have. If you'd rather just be quiet, that's okay too. Okay, here's the first question. Do you remember experiencing a sudden burst of anger? Yes. I have. Have you ever felt the cold hand of fear grip your heart and paralyze your mind? Yes. I have, yes. Have you ever felt the warmth of love flood through your heart and fill your mind? I have. Have you ever felt so happy that you just wanted to sing and dance and skip and jump up and down? I have. Each of these strong, unusually sudden emotional outbursts of energy reveal an area of strongly held belief that lies within. If we choose to do so, we can tease these out with our thought and just choose to explore how and why they arose, and we can often reveal something helpful to our spiritual growth. I have a little personal story I'd like to share with you. This story comes to mind because it was something that happened maybe 2 weeks ago. Let me give you a little backstory. Some of you don't know, many of you do, that in April of 2019, what is that? How many years ago is that now? 4 years ago. Dr. Shen confirmed my wife's diagnosis of Parkinson's. With Parkinson's, certain dopamine-producing cells in the brain shut down and die off. This causes less control of movements and makes it harder to hold, grasp, and coordinate fine motor movements. And then, in addition to that, arthritis has developed in her lower spine, been very painful, at one point presenting as severe sciatic pain, which fortunately has been relieved to a large extent. Well, the upshot of this medical talk is that my dear Vicky no longer is able to stand, bend, stoop, and pick up things from the floor or carry anything that weighs more than a few ounces. Anybody had that experience before? It's not so good. She has developed a habit. She has developed the habit of calling from the other room, more, more. I hear her calling. By the way, her voice is weakened by Parkinson's too. But I can't make out any words that follow the more thing. In responding to her calls, I've picked up her cell phone from the floor, swept up spills, cleaned paint from the table and from her brushes. Generally, I put the dishes into the dishwasher because she has pain when she bends. I cook her dinners and on and on and on. I've been doing this quite willingly. I was. That is, until one day, about a week, a little more, maybe 2 weeks ago, I wasn't. As I responded to one of her calls, I felt a huge surge of resentment. I felt as if the calls for help never stopped. They just kept coming. I wasn't quite sure how to handle this. After satisfying her present request, I decided to go with the theory of open communication between spouses. I told her I felt resentful. I did this after considering just maybe stuffing the feeling, paving it over with something. But I did talk to her in a quiet and calm voice, not immediately or with negative emotion, showing much. Sharing may not have been the very best thing to do. I could tell instantly that she really did feel hurt. And she told me so. I know that my halo certainly slipped out of sight on this occasion. Almost 2 weeks have passed now. We have largely moved beyond this incident because we do love and forgive each other. Now, that sudden burst of resentment caused me to question myself. Where did it come from? Why did I feel resentful? Did I feel unappreciated? Was it a reflection of a belief hiding somewhere in me that I'm unworthy or unable to respond? And a larger question, how much do I really love my wife? Yeah. Have I reached the limit to my ability to respond with kindness? Have I found a boundary that I can't cross? Just examining the questions led me to discover that I have a new level of loving kindness toward her, toward myself, and toward others. We both have worked through the feelings we had. My patience and responsiveness have improved. And I share this story because it's a simple, I believe, non-threatening example of bringing interior resentment to light, the shadow of that resentment into the light of understanding, and then letting the power of love dissolve that resentment. At least partly due to working through these feelings, we have made conscious decisions. Vicki has started to do things that she had felt she couldn't do any longer. She felt called to do that. She actually feels better, and as she challenges her limits expand. I call up loving kindness when I hear the call from another room. More, more. I could have stuffed the resentment and just run roughshod over it. That might have worked in the short term. It would have avoided some unpleasantness. Yet I believe noticing and bringing strong emotion into the light of consciousness has helped reduce my negative feelings, and hers too. She knows no matter how I feel at the moment, I support her and encourage her and extend myself in love to her. I believe the process of following the emotional pointer to hidden power has helped us both. It has led to what I believe will be more healthy, permanent results. It has brought something out of the shadow into the light. There's a Chinese proverb that extends our light out from ourselves into the whole world, helping making the world a little better, at least in this reference. If there is light in the soul, there will be beauty in the person. If there is beauty in the person, there will be harmony in the house. If there is harmony in the house, there will be order in the nation. If there is order in the nation, there will be peace in the world. Yeah. As we move to the conclusion of our message this morning, I present you with homework for this week. Would you like to do a little homework? It's always kind of fun to have a challenge for the week. At least I think it is. It will help you be prepared for next week's message and diving into the darkness. It could also bring to light areas that you may choose to address as you move forward on your spiritual path. Here's the practice. Notice when you have an emotional reaction, particularly a strong one. Give yourself a moment to reflect. It may take a little time to calm it down, but that's okay. You might even say to yourself, a pointer to my inner personal power. You might also say to the part of yourself that holds that hidden power, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. This short prayer, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I thank you, I love you, to yourself, has helped many people to a renewed sense of joy, simply accepting what this inspiration brings to you in the moment. My dear friends, I love you, I bless you, and I treasure you. Namaste. That's our message for the morning.
Thank you, Rev Moore.
You're welcome.
This song is called We Can Do Hard Things, which feels very fitting after that story about talking about the hard feelings. I walked through fire, I came out the other side. I chased desire, I made sure I got what's mine. And I continue to believe that I'm the one for me. And because I'm mine, I walk the line. 'Cause we're adventurers and heartbreaks our map. I continue to believe all the best people are free, and it took some time, but I'm finally fine. 'Cause we're adventurers and heartbreaks our map, a final destination we lack. We stopped asking directions to places they've never been, and to be loved we need to be known. We finally find our way back home, and through the joy and pain that our lives bring, we can do hard things. 'Cause we're adventurers and heartbreaks our map, a final destination we lack. We stopped asking directions to places they've never been, and to be loved we need to be known. We finally find our way back home again, and to the joy and pain that our lives bring, we can do hard things. Yeah, we can do hard things. Yes, we can do hard things. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Ari. Beautiful.
My pleasure.
Reverend Don. Well, we come to a part of our service where we get a chance to individually participate in sharing of the service, sharing of the love, sharing of the joy that's in our hearts through our monetary gifts, and of course, recognizing all the other ways that we support this center. We support each other in love, and that's probably the main thing of it all. So, with the love of, with the knowledge that we're circulating the love, let's say together our offering affirmation. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. And so it is.
I am grateful, I am grateful for the abundance in my life. I am grateful, I am grateful for abundance in my life. I am grateful, I am grateful for abundance in my life. I am grateful, I am grateful for abundance in my life. I am grateful, I am grateful for abundance in my life.
Gratitude is the most healthy attitude. For as we are grateful, we expand the awareness of goodness in our lives. And this expansion attracts into our lives even more goodness. And the goodness that we share is, when shared with joy, it just lifts us up. And so we dedicate every gift here this morning to the fulfillment of our soul's deepest desires, to our ability to reveal what is in the shadows of our mind, and let it come to the light and be lifted up and transformed into new avenues of expression with great power and joy. We accept every gift here this morning as a gift of the heart. And let us say together, and so it is. All right, let's stand together and say our prayer of protection. It is in the program. It's under that title. Okay, let us say, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Let's sing our peace song and form a circle if you like.
Ooh, yeah, let's get into a circle.
That's all right, you sit there and I'll go on the other side, I'll just do short.
Oh, she's got something to hang on.
Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me.
Walk in the joy of the light of your mind. Oh, you got it. Thank you.
She's okay. Boredom never hurt anyone though. I don't think boredom is bad. I always tell her that.